On August 25, 2020, amid the Kenosha unrest, Kyle Rittenhouse, a then 17-year-old male from Antioch, Illinois, shot and killed 2 people and wounded another during multiple confrontations at 2 locations. He was armed with an AR-15 style rifle, and one of those shot had a handgun. Those who had been chasing him were physically confronting Rittenhouse at the time that they were shot. Kenosha resident Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, and Silver Lake resident Anthony Huber, 26, were killed, while West Allis resident Geiger Grosskreutz, 26, lost his bicep. 2 other people present at the protest also chased and confronted Rittenhouse, and he either did not shoot at them or missed. Rittenhouse was arrested and charged with multiple counts of homicide and unlawful possession of a firearm, while Dominic Black was arrested and charged with unlawfully supplying Rittenhouse's rifle. Rittenhouse's attorneys say he acted in self-defense upon hearing firearm discharge and in response to the numerous physical confrontations by protesters. On August 23, 2020, Jacob Blake, an African-American man, was shot 4 times in the back by a Kenosha police officer after he was tasered. Blake was shot after he opened the door to his SUV while leaning into the vehicle. He is paralyzed from the waist down. The police shooting was followed by protests as part of the Black Lives Matter movement, which saw a resurgence in the wake of several other high-profile killings by police officers in 2020. The Kenosha protests included rallies, marches, property damage, arson, and clashes with police. In response to the George Floyd protests, which precipitated the Kenosha protests, former Kenosha Alderman Kevin Mathewson announced the formation of a militia group he called the Kenosha Guard. On August 25, he put out a call on Facebook for patriots willing to take up arms and defend Kenosha, which received a heavy online response. Kenosha Mayor John Antaramian and County Sheriff David Beth expressed their disapproval of armed civilians patrolling the streets, while police officers were seen in a video giving them water and were heard saying, "We appreciate you guys. We really do." Sheriff Beth later said that ahead of Tuesday night's protests, a group of armed individuals had asked him to deputize them so they could patrol the city of Kenosha, which he refused. He said he did not know if Rittenhouse had been part of the group, but the possibility of an incident occurring was why he had refused the request. Kyle Rittenhouse was described as having participated in local police cadet programs and expressing support on social media for the Blue Lives Matter movement and law enforcement. In the hours leading up to the shooting, Rittenhouse appeared in multiple videos by protesters and bystanders, including in 2 interviews, one by a live streamer at a car dealership where he and a number of other armed men had stationed themselves, the other by Daily Caller reporter Richie McGinnis. Some of the men were affiliated with the Kenosha Guard, but they denied any affiliation with Rittenhouse, and their leader said he never met or communicated with him. Rittenhouse was seen talking with police officers and offering medical aid to those who were injured. According to his attorneys, after he had heard about a local business owner who wanted help defending his car dealership, he and his friend Dominic David Black armed themselves with rifles and went to that business. The dealership had suffered $1.5 million in arson damage the previous night. When McGinnis asked Rittenhouse why he was at the car dealership, he responded, "So, people are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business. Part of my job is also to help people. If there is somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle. Because I have to protect myself. Obviously. I also have my medkit." At some point, Rittenhouse left the dealership and was prevented by police from returning. The 5 confrontations and subsequent shooting took place shortly before midnight on August 25, 2020, along Sheridan Road, Kenosha, where protesters went after clashes with law enforcement and being expelled from Civic Center Park. Protesters were recorded on video pushing a burning dumpster through a crowd towards a gas station. A guard, dressed in similar clothing to Rittenhouse, a green shirt, cap, and bag, put out the dumpster fire, which enraged Rosenbaum, who shouted verbal abuse at the guard. More arson took place and was recorded on video. Someone with identical features to Rittenhouse, having the same build, clothing, and rifle, and also wearing brown shoes, blue gloves, and an orange medical kit, was then seen running with a fire extinguisher. According to Rittenhouse's defense attorneys, the person with the fire extinguisher was indeed Rittenhouse, and what was not recorded on video was that he used it to put out one of the fires, which provoked a confrontation by Rosenbaum.